I want to talk about something that's been a little bit of a problem here lately, particularly as of recently. I know March of 2025 here, it's kind of become a very well known problem here among the ag industry, particularly. It's been a problem for a while now, but something that I really wanted to kind of talk about a little bit and touch on a little more today. Talking about the imports of Brazilian beef into the United States. Over the last decade, it's been steadily climbing. Over the last, like I said, over the last decade, um, um, the Brazilian beef industry already kind of has a long history of environmental and labor abuses already. The quality is not what we have in the United States, and yet we seem to be actually importing more and more. As years go, here recently. As of March 2025, actually, so last month, we imported 229,000 tons of Brazilian fresh beef from into the United States. That is a 65.14% increase from 2023, from March 2023. So it has been a very, over the last 2 years, been steadily climbing. That's a pretty significant amount of beef that's coming in. And I know a lot of people, a lot of beef prices are up right now. They're claiming there's a massive shortage right now. There's maybe not quite as many as there has been in the past, but I don't really think there's a major beef shortage like they're trying to make it sound. Trying to make it sound to be. It kind of seems like the Brazilian beef industry is trying to kind of flood the U.S. market here and push their beef onto U.S. Right now, the U.S. is the second largest importer of Brazilian beef in the world, behind only China. China, though, has also embargoed Brazilian beef three times in the last, well, since 2012, actually 2012, 2021, and 2023, all due to mad cow disease outbreaks in Brazil. Those are all short lived. Obviously, they're back to they're still the largest importer by quite a bit of Brazilian beef. China is, but they've had some history of like I said, mad cow disease has been three times in the last 12 13 years here. So something that we might want to keep an eye on. I know in 2021, I kind of found some data from 2021. I believe it was when China embargoed beef, the Brazilian beef when they first went in there in 2021. The Brazilian fresh imports jumped from 20 million pounds to over 80 million pounds in about 4 months' time um, in the United States. That's what the United States picked up. So a little over four times in 4 months' time that we um, actually increased our import of that, and that was during an embargo because of mad cow disease from China. So I think it's something that we need to keep an eye on. It's something that I think we need to definitely keep an eye on as especially producers. But it's something that I think as consumers you need to kind of keep an eye on as well, because honestly, the Brazilian beef is they're not held to the same standards as American producers um, put on there. They don't have the same standards as American producers, for one. It's something that I think, I don't think you can beat the American beef. We are also a very large exporter of beef here in the United States as well. I think we need to probably maybe cut back on the importing of Brazilian beef. Maybe kind of, um, maybe cut back on some of that and start, start using some of our own beef here in America. Maybe quit exporting as much and maybe keep it here in America. I think that's something that I think would be a good thing for everybody involved, American producers and particularly the consumers, because I think you get a better quality beef for should be roughly around the same price. I know President Trump he's put some tariffs on a bunch of countries. I don't know who all he's put on right now. I know China's our big one right now, but I'm not sure what the deal is on Brazil. I haven't really looked too much into that, but it's something I think we need to keep an eye on. It's something that I would like to at least bring attention to your local representatives, state representatives, and then especially the federal government, and try and maybe bring attention to this because it's something that I think we need to try and fix here. Obviously, Brazil, like I said, there's been 3 times, and I looked maybe 5 minutes of research on that, and I found 3 different cases of China, embargoing Brazilian beef because of mad cow disease. So that's a kind of concerning trend there. Twice in the last 4 years. So that's like I said, that's a very concerning trend. Especially from their largest import, their largest exporter, or, that's who they export their largest amount of beef to, and they're embargoing. They've done it twice in the last 4 years due to mad cow disease. So something I think we need to keep an eye on. I think we need to maybe keep a better, keep a close eye on this, see what happens here. I know, like I said, before the tariffs took effect, they really, really tried to flood the market. Obviously tariffs started, went into place in first part of April here. I think Brazil's probably one of them. I don't know for sure. I'm assuming they're one of them that's wanting to negotiate the tariffs with President Trump. I don't know for sure. Obviously, I'm not positive on that, but I would guess they would be because, like I said, they're a very major trading partner with us, especially in the ag industry. But this comes back to something else I'm planning on doing some more videos about. And I'm gonna kind of just briefly touch on this. I think this is probably one of the most important things is the cool labeling, COOL, country of origin labeling. It's something that I think is very important. I think we need to try and bring that back, where it actually tells where that animal was raised, not just necessarily where it was packaged. Anything right now, the way it is right now, you can raise an animal wherever. They can even slaughter it in another country, ship it into the United States. They can package it in the United States and label it as a product of the USA, and that is not at all what it is. So I think it's something that we need to. I think it's something we need to keep an eye on. I think we need to be very transparent about this. Something I think I really wish we could bring that back. It's something I plan on doing some videos about this here in the future. So keep an eye on that. Like I said, I don't know when I'll get to them. I'm hoping I can get to some videos here, doing some more. That's my plan, anyways, to do some videos on the cool labeling and kind of what that is. Try and keep you up to date on what's going on around the world, especially in the ag industry. A little bit of political stuff here and there, but for the most part, I raise a few head of cows here. I raise a few head of cows here in southern Iowa, and I'm definitely not a full time farmer. Like I have another job, but I do raise a few head of cows here. So I want what's best for the cattle industry, for American farmers, American ranchers, American beef producers, particularly. So I think what's best for them is what's going to be best for America ultimately. And I think this is something that we need to at least keep an eye on. I don't like that we're importing so much beef from Brazil. I don't think it's necessary. I really don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's at all what we should be doing. But I think it's something that, like I said, just keep an eye on it, and maybe talk to your local representative. Your representative, maybe kind of put it in their ear to hey, why don't you keep an eye on this? Why don't we let's try and do something to help these the American farmers out and the Americans out rather than trying to help a foreign country. I've done some videos in the past about the packing plants, the big 4 meat packing plants, and 2 of them are actually Brazilian owned. So two of the 4 biggest in the United States are actually Brazilian owned. So kind of goes into a little bit of the kind of what I'm talking about with those as well. I'd love for you to watch that video. I will probably repost that one here in the next in the next day or two. So hopefully you can see that as well. But if you like the video, please give it a like and share and subscribe. And anyway, thanks for listening. And I know it's kind of a little longer than most of my videos, but it's something that I think is very important. I think we need to try and at least figure out what's going on with it. even if we don't necessarily have a solution, at least figure out what's going on, and hopefully we can help everybody out, especially the American farmers, American beef producers, which in turn I think will help out the Americans consumers.